Hey guys, today I'm going to show you my favorite way to preserve eggs. And we're gonna be doing these videos in somewhat of a reverse because I didn't press record earlier. Yeah, I'm very new to this, so whatever. But at least now I can show you guys before and after, kinda sorta. So this was a batch that I did 3 months ago. You can see how it's rested. It's very clear looking now, a little residue on the top of some of those eggs. This guy here still has somewhat of a milky consistency because I just made up that solution. But yeah, so this method basically involves you using calcium hydroxide and water. And it's very easy. You guys are gonna see today, this takes a couple minutes, which is great. It's dummy proof because you only need a couple things. Like there's really no reason to not preserve eggs this way. It's amazing. And debatably, I've heard they last 8 months, 2 years. Plus as eggs are pretty easy to test and see if they're bad. So you could play with it if you would like. I personally, before I moved out of Oregon, had to test my eggs. These aren't very portable. I tried them and I didn't notice any change in flavor, like at all. The only difference I saw was that the yolk was a little more runny, but perfectly good eggs. So I'm convinced. I love this method. I should show you guys my closet because I do have quite a bit of these. And the last thing I'm gonna say about this and why I like it is because you don't have to fill this up all the way. So anybody who's like me out there who has chickens and maybe half their chickens like to shit all over the eggs, which mine do no matter what I do, I can't get very many eggs at once. So with this method, it's cool because you only have to put a few in and you can continuously add eggs, you know, as you get them. Have I convinced you yet? I love this method. So let's talk about what we need.
So obviously you're gonna need eggs for this. Eggs from a grocery store are not going to cut it though. In order to do this method, you need farm fresh eggs. Reason being, you need the eggs to be coated with the bloom. If you don't know what that is, basically it's a natural protective layer that is coating the egg, and we need that to help keep the pores sealed. If you don't have chickens and will be purchasing from someone else's farm, make sure and confirm with them the eggs haven't been cleaned. I don't think they typically are. Last thing to check for when picking your eggs is that the eggs you use are free of shit. This is very important. Only select the ones that are free of crap stuck to it.
Okay, let's talk about what else you guys need. We're gonna start by talking about the container. Really with this, you can use any container you want. I've seen people use like 5-gallon buckets. The ratio basically for this is gonna be an ounce of calcium hydroxide. Now ounce, I mean ounce by weight. 1 ounce of calcium hydroxide to 1 quart of water, okay? And you can double that depending on the container size. Next thing you're gonna need is some water. I would highly suggest using filtered water, like distilled water. If you're on city water, it might be, you know, debatable, but I have a reverse osmosis because I'm fancy, so I've got some clean water here. This is already measured out to 1 quart. Something to stir your solution with. We've got all my eggs here that I have chosen to put in this batch. And now we're basically gonna mix all this up. All right, so I went ahead and added the eggs. Figured you guys didn't need to see me do that. One downfall with these jars, I might add, especially if you have man hands like me, it is kind of a pain in the butt to get your hand in there. So maybe something to consider before you use these guys here. If you've got cute little lady fingers, are probably fine, but I don't. So I'm just gonna dump this in. Can you guys see okay? No. Okay, and now we're gonna give it a good mix. Try not to breathe it in, it's kind of gross. I think that's probably good. Okay, now we're just gonna dump it over our eggs. There you have it. And that's it. That's all there is to it. As I said, this is super easy. Now, where's my lid? I lost my lid. We'll find that later. Okay, so one thing, make sure you guys store this in a dark, cool place. That is a downfall if you use glass is, you want to try to keep these guys out of the light. So find, a dark cupboard or somewhere that you guys can store this. That is it from me today, guys. Below in the description, make sure you read all that. It's got all the links to everything that I used today, as well as a good written version of this recipe and what you guys are gonna need. And if you're not already liking and subscribing to this channel, make sure you do so. I need a lot of followers, okay? I really do. And in return, I will give you guys more videos like this. And don't forget to, let me know what you guys wanna see. I can preserve eggs in other ways as well. This is just my favorite way. Let me know, guys.